Okay, one more thing I do want to say on when you're picking your paint, less is more. So if you guys think that going with the paint because the 5 gallon or the gallon is cheaper, you're gonna spend way more money and time buying more gallons to try to cover the coat because just cheaper paint, you're gonna get what you paid for. So I'm not sponsored by anybody. I don't want to trash anybody. I just want to give you guys my personal experience so that way you have a heads up. Starting off, Sherwin-Williams. I think that everybody knows them because most home builders use them and because they market the most. I mean, I see their commercials all the time where, I hear their radios and stuff. And I ain't gonna lie, they got some cool commercials with all their little color charts they use. But realistically, man, every time I use it, it just doesn't touch up. The homeowner will say, hey, we bought an extra gallon when we originally paint it, so I have an extra gallon, or we even have the same can. And it may be a year or 2 years later, and you shake it up like I showed you in another video, and it never touches up. It's always darker, and then they're like, hey, what did you do? I'm like, dude, you gave me the paint, and it's their paint. But, and then they're like, well, can you paint the whole wall? And I'm like, yeah, for extra, because I'm just here to paint the patch, So Sherwin-Williams never matches up. It just never matches up. I don't care. I said it. It is what it is. Valspar, and even the different shades. I used Ovation, which is pretty pricey, and I think they have a Showcase, but if I was gonna buy Showcase, I'd get a higher brand like a Benjamin Moore or a Cali Moore before they went out of business. So I just don't wanna pay that much for, over-the-counter box store kind of paint. Because I mean, paint's pricey right now. As far as last time I went, I think it's anywhere from 30 to 50 bucks a gallon, and that's at Home Depot or Lowe's. So the next one is Valspar. I did a shed conversion that we actually made it into, it was like her office, this lady's office, and I used flat ceiling paint. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it did cover up, but it took almost the whole 5 gallons. Like I had to do so many recoats and so many recoats because you could just see it was flashing, all the drywall was flashing right through it, the mud was flashing through it. So what normally should have taken 2 coats, it ended up taking like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 coats. It just took a lot of coats. And again, it did cover up, but it just took so many extra coats because the paint was so thin. Bear. The last time I used Bear was probably back in 2000 and I don't know, maybe 05, 06. I had bought multiple gallons, multiple 5 gallons. It was like 15 gallons altogether in 3 different 5-gallon buckets. It was all from the same place, the same order, the same time, the same person mixed them. And after I was done with one, I went to the next one, and they were all 3 different shades of the same color, and they jacked up this house that I was painting. And maybe that was a user error, and they didn't know what they were putting in. But I did see that when the label comes out, it tells you what they put in, and they have put too much black in one, not enough in the other, and none of those 3 labels matched, and I got them all at the same time. And it just doesn't cover very well. From the last time I used it. I haven't used it since the early 2000s, so I don't know now. Maybe I know they came out with some other lines, but that's what I know about that. I've never used PP&G. I heard that they're real low budget. I don't know. My go-to before was Kelly Moore, but like I said, they went out of business, so you can't get them. So the next thing that's up is Benjamin Moore. Now here's the caution. The caution is they're really expensive. I think it's $100 a gallon. So I have very few homeowners that want to pay for it, but like I said, I know in the long run, I did a house, some patches, and the lady had the original paint from when they painted the house, and it was Benjamin Moore, and it was like, I don't know, 7 years old. I stirred it up, I shook it up, I painted it. You could even tell there was no difference, there was no color shading. It was perfect. So yes, you're gonna pay more, but down the line, if you have to use it again to touch up, it's gonna be flawless. You're not gonna see any touch-up marks. You're not gonna see anything. So if you're gonna spend the money, might as well do it one time instead of having to buy more and more gallons to cover it up. There was also another job I did where it was an office. It was like a medium-sized commercial job, and I didn't paint it. Another painter painted it, and they came back and tried to tell me it was me, but it was their paint and the way that they sprayed it. It just came out real janky. But I would have used a heavy nap brush like I explained in one of the other videos, and I would have just rolled it because it was such a thick orange peel that I have put on that the guy spraying it didn't spray it right, and it was some watered down paint. I don't remember what, because owner had bought it, so I'm not sure what it was, but I would have just slopped it on heavy because it was a real thin paint. So again, my recommendation is Benjamin Moore. You guys can go and buy maybe a little sample sizes if you can, and see how much it bleeds through, see how much it covers up. Just buyer beware. Buyer beware, and just know, again, you're getting what you pay for. But then with that said, like I said, some of that stuff, that Sherwin-Williams stuff, is like 30 to 50 bucks a gallon, and it still ain't worth anything. It still ain't no good. So just be wary of it. Benjamin Moore, I know, covers up really good. It's a really thick paint. You'll see the difference when you open up different paints. It's almost like pudding. You know what I mean? It's so thick. So that's all I got to say. If you guys know something better, let me know. All right. See you guys on the next one.